It's the end of the week, and so it's time to take out the trash. Every week, we find the political garbage strewn throughout the country, sometimes in the state, sometimes in the Capitol, and we throw it here in our convenient little googly-eyed trash. We haven't actually said who's gonna go first. Is it cool for Brett to go first? I will, okay, I will go first. This is a story that I've gotten some requests. It is a person that I have become quite used to throwing in the trash recently, even though it doesn't seem to matter. It's just totally cool that he's garbage. But I am going to be throwing one Tucker Carlson, who I think that's what he does when the servant gets too close. But anyway, he's absolute garbage. Why in this particular case? Well, for everything. But in particular right now, I wanna focus on what we found out about senior year college Tucker Carlson. And it began with this clip on his show.
Jeff Bezos had one of his minions, a mentally unbalanced middle-aged man called Eric Wempel, pull our dusty college yearbook and call around to see if we'd done anything naughty at the age of 19. That sounds like fun. Let us know if you hear any good stories. But before Bezos drops any more of his billions on opposition research, you should know that it will not affect any election outcome. This is a news show. It's not a political campaign. No one here is running for anything or plans to.
We should be so lucky, but I don't believe him. Anyway, he's trying to get out in front of something. They've been talking to people to find out things about him, and he wants to tell his audience, no matter what comes, don't worry about it. It's just naughty stuff when we were young. And by the way, the guy who's asking questions is bad, so it doesn't matter what I did, it's a bad guy, so don't care about it. Well, it didn't take long to figure out what it was he was potentially worried about them finding. Maybe there's other stuff, but this is what they found so far. Travis Akers tweeted this out. Perhaps this is the story that Tucker Carlson was trying to get ahead of. In his college yearbook, he listed himself as a member of the Dan White Society. Dan White was the man who murdered Harvey Milk. And you can see there, we're gonna return to the Harvey Milk. Just first of all, because we need to understand who Tucker Carlson is. Understand that this is the actual picture that he posed for his college yearbook. And I can't think of a more perfect representation of who Tucker Carlson is. Sometimes people say that he's like the stereotypical villain from all the 80s college movies. No, I think he's like the one person that both the jocks and the nerds in those movies would beat up. But anyway, we also have a close up on
punched in the face by a ghost who also hates him.
He's reacting to a punch right then. That is
the swoop of his hair. The swoop of his hair is actually just, it was totally straight, but it's flying back as he's getting punched in the face by every spirit who lived and went before him, even the ones to which he pays homage with his strange outfit.
There's something about the jacket and the tie and the little face. It looks like he's spying a tray of cucumber sandwiches across the room. He just wants one. Anyway,
it's weird that he couldn't find a smaller tie.
That's
it's
true.
Weird his bow tie is so enormous. It's so
yeah,
weird.
It's so huge. Anyway, the big issue here though isn't just his face and his whole thing. It's this. This is his actual entry in the yearbook. He was part of the Christian Fellowship, the Jesse Helms Foundation, and the Dan White Society. And as was pointed out before, Carlson would have been about 9 when White assassinated Milk and Moscone in November 1978. These assassinations were a major story at the time, not only because they involved the killings of 2 government officials, but because Milk was the first openly gay person to be elected to office in the state of California. So you get what's going on here. So first of all, the yearbook is freely available online. You can check it, and there are no other references to the Dan White Society in that yearbook, implying, if this makes it better, that it isn't an actual society, because I assume it can't be. It is just a thing that he thought would be funny to put in his yearbook, that he is part of a club that just looks up to a guy that he only knows about because he murdered a gay politician. That is what Tucker Carlson, the naughty thing that in senior year of college, by the way, he thought would be funny to be remembered for the rest of his life.
This is not taking a cow up the stairs knowing that it can't walk down the stairs. This is not, short sheeting someone's bed, right? This is like, I am going to put in the yearbook as a literal adult that I am in the society devoted to the guy who killed Harvey Milk.
Yep.
And we always hear about his stepmom, the Swanson, whatever. But we don't hear about Tucker Carlson's dad a lot. You need to watch an HBO documentary series called The Lady in the Dale.
Yep.
Tucker's dad that's Tucker's dad. Tucker's dad is this wildly, strangely obsessed anti-trans reporter in the 70s, who to this day, when they interview him, still misgenders this woman who, is a very interesting figure in a documentary. And he's still wildly obsessed about it. Then you look back through and you're like, well, it makes sense that Tucker would be this way. But the difference is you'd think that like someone like Tucker would grow out of that at a certain point. That's the argument.
Rebel.
The argument he's making is like, well, they're gonna look into the naughty things that we did when I was 19. It's like, yeah, like Tucker, you didn't grow out of it. It's not like now you're a fantastic person. On the daily, you're still doing this kind of stuff. So it's not that I needed to go back in time to find out whether Tucker Carlson was like this weird white supremacist D-bag. Like, it's just shocking that you were also a weird white supremacist D-bag all the way back in the day. It's just an interesting like through line to draw.
Yeah. And it's like he listed 3 groups. 2 of them he put there so that he hates gay people.
And he's
a
racist.
Weird thing to put into your. Well, that too, yes, definitely. I want to remind people though, if they're not familiar with Jesse Helms, former politician. Helms once said, nothing positive happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, and nothing positive is likely to happen to America if our people succumb to the drumbeats of support for the homosexual lifestyle. So Tucker Carlson, the guy in that picture, the little face like that, the guy that's never had a struggle in his life, was handed everything, defined himself as late as graduation from college by hating gay people and applauding those who murder them. It doesn't matter. We can point this out. He is uncancelable. And we should have known that when, after Media Matters found video of him referring to Iraqis as semi-literate primitive monkeys, didn't get canceled as a result of that. His audience likes him not despite these things, but because of them. When they find out that he looks up to a guy who killed Harvey Milk, he's probably gonna gain audience share. But it's just sick that we live in a country where you can become successful specifically because you are this utter piece of garbage like Tucker Carlson.
I just need to say, like, this is a guy who says he's a man of the people and always fights against like the elites in the world, while being born with that suit on, replacing his bow tie because he finally discovered that was even a little too elitist, but he's still a pleated pant that somehow came to life. And his whole family's pedigree, his dad is like, he got his job in media because his dad was an LA newsman, investigative journalist, so to speak, for a very long time. And his stepmom, that is responsible for even more wealth coming to the Tucker Carlson family, is a mix of the Swanson broth fortune and the Fulbrights.
Yep.
Like, this guy is an elitist, and the idea that he would ever give a crap about you for anything other than the ad dollars you translate into is psychotic. And the last thing I'll say about Tucker Carlson is he's like, this doesn't matter because I'm not running for anything. It's like, what do you mean? Does that mean you're not an important person in the political discourse? So people shouldn't know who their messages are coming from?
Yeah. No, he'd never care about what someone not in politics does. He'd never focus on that. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.